And it is the final week of PFL regular season action this week. The lightweights and the welterweights take center stage in the main event. Aubin-Mercier, the reigning lightweight champion, he will be taking on Anthony Romero with the playoff spot on the line. And the co-main event features last year's welterweight world champion in Sadibou C. C will look to return to the playoffs for, I believe, the 5th time with a victory over Shane Mitchell this Friday night from Atlanta, Georgia. And folks, if you haven't yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more PFL here on the channel. Yesterday we posted our UFC Jacksonville Fight Night predictions here on the channel as well. Quick disclaimer before I start the video, I am recording this on Tuesday, June 13th. I'm going on vacation, so I'm not going to be home, so I have to, record these ahead of time. So if any of the fights fall out, that's why. This is the current lineup as of June 13th. Let's now get into this 12-fight card. Okay, let's get through the showcase bouts pretty quickly. Our first one being Abdullah Al-Qahtani taking on Lamar Brown. Give me Abdullah to win this fight. I like him to take it by unanimous decision. His last fight was a fight in Brave CF, which he lost by split decision. He's taking on Lamar Brown, a guy who is 4-1. Brown is coming off of his win on B2 Fight Series. In the first round, he gets a finish, but again, that was against a guy who's 1-3. For Lamar Brown, he has not taken on an opponent who is, close to the credibility of Abdullah Al-Qahtani in this fight. For Al-Qahtani, again, really good stand-up game as we've seen so far in Brave CF. He's had 5 fights with that promotion. He now gets the call to the PFL. Again, not that familiar with either of these fighters all that much, but still, I'm gonna take Al-Qahtani to win this fight. I think he is better than his opponent here in Lamar Brown. Give me Abdullah Al-Qahtani to win this fight with the striking by unanimous decision. And our second and final showcase bout will be Brian Zurcher taking on Mike Bardsley. I'm going to be taking Brian Zurcher to win this fight. This is a guy so far who is 3-0 in the PFL after winning back-to-back years on the Challenger Series. He, in between those two Challenger Series bouts, he won on the PFL playoff card in August of 2022, beating Ricardo Jimenez by unanimous decision. Zurcher is a really good ground fighter. He knows how to get it done on the ground. The Mexican-born fighter is really good as a whole. He's still coming into his own as a fighter. Again, young in his career, but he's taking on another guy who is young in his career in his own right, in Mike Bardsley. Bardsley is 3-0. His 3 wins all over fighters without a professional win just yet. If Zurcher is able to get this fight down, which I think he will be able to, it's just a matter of we will see who the better grappler is as a whole, because Bardsley, from what we've seen out of him in B2 fighting and in Icon, really good ground game as well. I think Zurcher's ground game is superior, and that's why I'm going to be taking the Mexican-born Brian Zurcher to beat Mike Bardsley. He's going to win this fight by unanimous decision. Okay, on to the season bouts, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't really know how much meaning these season bouts are going to have, if I'm just being completely honest with you, especially at welterweight. Lightweight, okay, there is a lot of meaning to those fights, but I feel like other than the top 4 guys and with the Manfio and Natan Schulte fight, there's not much to be decided. And even at welterweight, unfortunately, I'll just be honest with you, there's not much to be decided here. You got the top 4 guys all with 6, 6, 6, and 5 points. And now the only guy who doesn't have a finish so far, or who did not get a finish but picked up a win, is Lopez. And Lopez will be fighting Umalatov. So the winner of that fight is likely into the playoffs. And then other than that, I mean, unless you get a first-round finish or a second-round finish before Sadibou C got his finish, you're not going to be in the playoffs, because that's just how it's going to work. So for Gerard Al-Silawi here and his opponent in, of course, Zach Juusola, I think Silawi is going to win by second round TKO. Now, originally, Al-Silawi was booked against Cedric Doumbé, and of course, Doumbé had to pull out from the fight. Now, that was going to be in the Doumbé fight was supposed to be in the season format. Now, of course, it's no longer. Doumbé is now going to be fighting in the main event of the PFL Europe card in France, so good for him. But Silawi now gets a guy in Juusola who he should beat, and I think he will be in the second round by knockout. But again, he's going to have to finish him before Sadibou C got a finish, which was in 6 minutes and 14 seconds. And oh, by the way, Al-Silawi, that's his only win. And you look who Sadibou C's fighting. Sadibou C's fighting Shane Mitchell, who's 13-5. It's just going to be incredibly tough for anyone not named Magomedkerimov, Magomed Umalatov, Carlos Leal, Sadibou C, or Naib Lopez to make the playoffs, because Naib Lopez will get the opportunity to boot Umalatov at the playoffs. But even a guy like, hey, okay, who's fighting Magomedkerimov? It's going to be David Zawada. Well, David Zawada is still going to have to get a finish before Magomedkerimov got his finish, which was in 63 seconds. It's just going to be really tough for these guys to make the playoffs if you're not part of the top five. Again, Naib Lopez has the deck stacked against him against Umalatov, but at least he's given the opportunity. Everyone else, it's just so tough. Give me Al-Silawi to win this fight by second round TKO. And oh, by the way, I'll just mention this real quick. We'll get to the Naib Lopez fight eventually, but even if Naib Lopez beats Magomed by decision, Magomed still makes the playoffs instead of Naib Lopez. Anyways, in this fight, Drew Al-Silawi will win this fight by second round TKO, but again, it'll for now put him in 5th place. But again, it doesn't have any meaning. Top 4 make the playoffs. Al-Silawi and Juusola both eliminated. Okay, now a fight that does have some weight to it. Here we go, Alex Martinez versus Bruno Miranda. Miranda currently with 3 points in the regular season. Again, you look at the lightweight division, everyone's got 3 points, and you either have 3 points or you have 0 points. Again, the winners from the first week are Aubin-Mercier, Clay Collard, Bruno Miranda, Natan Schulte, Manfio. Aubin-Mercier is fighting Anthony Romero. Clay Collard will be fighting Stevie Ray. Miranda will be fighting, of course, right now, Alexander Martinez. And then Manfio is fighting Natan Schulte. So the winner of Manfio and Schulte will make the playoffs. And again, the way I see it, kind of like welterweight, OAM, Collard, and Miranda are probably going to be in. And then Schulte and Manfio, the winner of that fight, is going to get in the playoffs. Now, this is the wild card, because I think out of the fights that Mercier, Collard, and Miranda have, Miranda definitely has the biggest chance of losing. Now, I'm not going to pick him to lose. I think he'll beat Alex Martinez. I think he'll beat him by decision. But I think if anybody's going to pull off the upset, it will be Alex Martinez, and that will open up, the opportunity for, I'll be honest with you, I think it opens up for Shane Burgos. Burgos is the most likely guy to get a finish at 155 pounds, because if we're just looking at the weight class, guys, for being honest, it's not a lot of guys to get finishes in this weight class. OAM, sure, he got the finish over Stevie Ray in the playoffs, and he's gotten finishes before, but really, there's not many finishers in this weight class. Clay Collard's a good boxer, but does Collard get finishes all that often? He doesn't. A lot of these guys get 3 points, so that's what I'm saying. I know Stevie Ray finished, Showtime last year, but Showtime was, about to retire. Just he's on the way out. He's a boxer now. If anyone can pull off the upset, it'll be Alex Martinez. And if Alex Martinez can pull off the upset over Bruno Miranda, it's going to benefit Shane Burgos the most, because Shane Burgos has a very, I wouldn't say it's a likely pathway to a finish, but there's a chance he finishes Yamamoto Nishikawa later on in this card. So Burgos is a huge Alex Martinez fan, because I think Burgos is the only guy who can jump the 3-point fighters in the playoffs here. Because if Martinez wins, okay, it'll put him at 3 points, tied with everybody else. And we're assuming OAM wins, Collard wins, and the winner of Schulte Manfio wins. So it's 3 guys with 6 points. And then you'd have 3 points for the loser of Manfio, Schulte, Martinez, and Miranda. If Shane Burgos can just get a finish, he'd work his way to the 4 spot. Unfortunately for Burgos, I don't think Martinez is going to win. I think Bruno Miranda is too good. I think his striking's too good. I think Bruno Miranda is going to go out here and get a decision. I think Miranda is another guy who could potentially get a finish, but I'm going to take him by decision, and Bruno Miranda takes it by decision. Again, he went the full distance against Ahmed Amir. I'm thinking he's going to go the full distance with Martinez. Give me Miranda by unanimous decision. So this is what I'm talking about at welterweight. Again, Carlos Leal, I feel, has been given a very clear pathway to the playoffs here. Delano Taylor is a clear path to the playoffs right now. And I know Delano Taylor was the runner-up at 170 pounds last year, but this is a guy who just got knocked out less than 2 months ago. And he's back in there already. Carlos Leal is likely going to knock out Delano Taylor in the first round. This is a good fight for Carlos Leal, who is coming off, by the way, a first-round knockout victory over David Zawada. Again, the guys who lost in the first round are just getting passed around to another winner who got a first-round knockout. Again, Umalatov is now, actually not Umalatov, but Magomedkerimov, who got a first-round knockout, is now getting Carlos Leal's opponent in the first round, David Zawada, right? You get Leal and Delano Taylor here, both the guys who lost in the playoffs last year to the champion Sadabu C. Leal's better than Delano Taylor. Taylor is a guy who kind of sticks his chin up in the air when he strikes, and he's very susceptible of being hit. He's not a bad striker, but Carlos Leal's got more power, and Carlos Leal is the all-around better striker, and he's going to take advantage of when Delano Taylor's chin's up in the air. So Carlos Leal is going to win this fight. He's going to get done by first-round knockout, and that will definitely put him in the playoffs. I mean, it's the max point total you can get. Leal will now have 12 points after another first-round finish, and it's going to be tough because, again, I don't know when in the first round we think Leal is going to get this, but I think it's going to be pretty early because, again, Delano Taylor, his last fight just got knocked out. He's back in there already. Everything favors Carlos Leal in this fight. Leal picks up 12 points now. First round knockout victory for Carlos Leal, moving on to the playoffs. Okay, winner is in the playoffs, loser is eliminated. Winner go home between 2 former world champions, Natan Schulte and Manfio. What a fight just buried on the prelims here. Of course, Natan Schulte, the two-time PFL champion in 2018 and 2019, missed the playoffs in 2021 after going 1-1 in that season, losing to Marcin Held, then beating Alex Martinez. And then 2022, he lost to OAM, beat Marcin Held, but of course was not in the playoffs, beat Jeremy Stephens anyways in an exhibition fight or in a showcase fight, then beat Stevie Ray in his first fight in 2023. Here he is against Manfio. I think Natan Schulte can get this fight down. I think Natan Schulte can win this stylistic matchup. Obviously, Manfio is going to want this fight on the feet. That's where Manfio excels. Natan Schulte's obviously going to want this fight on the ground. Again, two Brazilian fighters, but two very differing game plans going into this fight. Schulte obviously is the grappler. Manfio's the striker. That's the simplest way I can put it. I am tending to pick Natan Schulte's grappling over Manfio's striking. I think that's how this is going to go. And again, it's win or go home because both these guys won their first round matchup. Manfio beat Alex Martinez. Natan Schulte went out there and beat Stevie Ray. So both guys with 3 points. Currently, again, Natan Schulte's number 4, and our guy here in Manfio is number 5. I think Natan Schulte's going to get 3 more points, and Natan Schulte is going to basically clinch his spot in the playoffs here. Because, again, it's going to be very tough for anyone on the outside looking in right now to make it in. And I think Natan Schulte's going to get it done. So give me Natan Schulte to beat Manfio, advancing to the PFL playoffs. I think his grappling will prevail. Schulte's going to win this fight. He's going to get it done by unanimous decision. Okay, so here's the one man on the outside looking in right now in the welterweight playoffs who can shake things up. It's Naib Lopez. Lopez picked up a win in his first round matchup, and by the way, Lopez is undefeated at 16-0. His last fight and his first fight in the PFL was a unanimous decision victory over Shane Mitchell. Naib Lopez will now fight Magomed Umalatov. Someone's O has got to go. Umalatov at 13-0, Lopez at 16-0. Magomed Umalatov is probably going to win this fight. Naib Lopez is a striker, so you're going to see a striking matchup here. And Umalatov's a striker as well with heavy hands. You're going to see both these guys go on the feet. It should make for a very interesting and fun stylistic matchup until a knockout does come. And I think that knockout is going to come for Magomed Umalatov. I think he's going to catch Naib Lopez on the feet. Again, I think Lopez is solid. I think he's, really good fighter. I think he's a good fighter, but I think Magomed Umalatov, again, is just on a kind of a different level right now. This guy's undefeated so far in the PFL. He participated in the regular season in 2021. Did not, of course, or no, was he in season 2021? No, he wasn't. First regular season, I think, for him, because in 2021, he won in the first round against Kyron Bowen, or second round against Kyron Bowen. I don't think he was in the season that year. Anyways, that's besides the point. I don't entirely remember how Umalatov fought in 2021. No, I don't think he was in the season last year. Wait, no, he was. I think he was in the season. He just didn't fight a second fight, and more guys had more points than him, I think. Yeah, because in 2022, he was supposed to fight Ray Cooper, didn't fight the first fight, then fought Al-Silawi, and was supposed to fight Rory McDonald in the first round of the playoffs, but then he was booked, or had visa issues, so Delano Taylor got the fight instead. Anyways, Umalatov's going to beat Naib Lopez. I think, again, Lopez has the chance and the possibility to knock Umalatov out and get in the playoffs, but I think Umalatov's going to get the knockout. Second round TKO finish. He'll have 11 points. It'll put him currently in second place behind Carlos Leal, so for now, Leal is the 1 seed, Umalatov is the 2. And then you have Magomedkerimov at 3 and Sadibousi at 4. Again, Sadibousi and Magomedkerimov are going to be in situations where, similar to Brendan Loughnane, or I guess C's going to be in that spot similar to Brendan Loughnane, as long as he doesn't get knocked down in the first round, he will be in the playoffs. But for now, we will be giving 11 points in total to Magomed Umalatov with the second round knockout victory. Okay, back at welterweight, Magomedkerimov taking on David Zawada in the welterweight division. Guys, I think you know how this fight's going to end up. This is a very likely a victory here for Magomedkerimov. Just putting it plain and simple, Magomedkerimov is going to win this fight. He's probably going to win it by first round knockout. David Zawada is coming off a loss where he just got knocked out in the first round, again, to the aforementioned Carlos Leal. Magomedkerimov is a very good fighter who, again, did not make the playoffs last season because he did not fight his first fight against Joao Zeferino. He then fought Delano Taylor, got 5 points, but again, did not make the playoffs. He won on the last fight card of the year against Gleibson Tebow. He comes in his first fight in 2023, wins by knockout in the first round in 63 seconds, and now he's going to pick up another first round knockout. And now with this victory over David Zawada, I think Magomedkerimov is going to have faster finish times than Carlos Leal, and that's going to currently give him the 1 seed. So Magomedkerimov will be the 1 seed with 12 points with faster finishes than Carlos Leal, and putting Leal at second, putting Umalatov at third, and then for now, Sadibousi in fourth, and that final playoff spot will be decided by Sadibousi or Shane Mitchell. Anyways, I'm going to be taking Magomedkerimov to win this fight by first round knockout. Again, Zawada just got knocked out, and Magomedkerimov has got way better hands. In a normal fight, I'd take him to win by first round knockout, but plus Zawada just getting knocked out, I'm even more confident in picking Magomedkerimov. Magomedkerimov wins by first round knockout. And at 155 pounds, Clay Collard takes on Stevie Ray. Now, we've talked about the state of this lightweight division. Basically, since I don't think many guys are going to be able to go out there and get finishes, or at least first round finishes, I think I think the lightweights are kind of set. The guys have already won. All they got to do is just win another fight. And that's the situation here for Clay Collard. Clay Collard comes into this fight after his decision victory in his first fight against Nishikawa. All he has got to do in this fight is win it by decision, I think, and he's going to pick up the win over Stevie Ray. Stevie Ray's good. Again, he was the runner-up last season, but he really benefited because he got to fight Showtime Pettis twice last year. Twice in, a month and a half, and now he got OAM, he lost, then he fights Natan Schulte, and he goes out and he loses in his first fight of this year. Clay Collard and Stevie Ray should be a boxing fight, and Clay Collard is probably going to go out there and just outbox Stevie Ray. Again, I think the way we look at the playoffs right now in the standings, I don't think it's going to change much. I think it's going to be kind of the same. When you look at 155, again, OAM and Shane Burgos yet to fight, but still, you got Collard with 6, you got Miranda with 6, Natan Schulte with 6. I think the tiebreakers go the same exact way that it currently is at on the PFL playoffs. So Collard is likely going to be the 2 seed, Miranda is likely going to be the 3, Schulte's going to be the 4. Spoiler alert, I think OAM is going to win his fight, so he'll likely be the 1. That's kind of how it's going to work. Again, Shane Burgos will be the biggest Stevie Ray fan on the planet, just to edge out a victory. But I don't think it's going to happen. Clay Collard's going to outbox Stevie Ray to victory. Clay Collard's going to win by unanimous decision. So again, we talked about it earlier in the lightweight division. Shane Burgos versus Yamato Nishikawa. Nishikawa, by the way, he's young. He's 20 years old. He's had how many pro fights? I mean, the guy's had 32 professional fights, and he's 20 years old, which is crazy. He's been fighting since 2016, which means he's been fighting since he's been 13 years old. Is Tapology right? Is Nishikawa actually 20? Because no way this guy's been having pro fights since he's been 13. Anyways, Shane Burgos is better than Nishikawa. I know Burgos loses to OAM in his first fight, but OAM is truly the best lightweight on the roster. Shane Burgos is the second best lightweight on the roster. Now, I think Burgos should be fighting 145 pounds. I think he'd do a lot better for his career. I know the weight classes, when you look at it, maybe, honestly, is 145 more stacked than 155? I don't think so, honestly. I know you got, you got Chris Wade and Brandon Loughnane who aren't even in the playoffs, but that's besides the point. Burgos probably won't make the playoffs at 155 pounds. Now, I think he's going to beat Nishikawa. I think he's going to beat him by second round TKO. I think eventually he is going to get to him. I think Burgos is a better striker. He's going to walk him down. Burgos has got, he's got way more skills. I think he is way better than Yamato Nishikawa in this fight. It's just that, okay, Burgos is not going to make the playoffs here. I think, again, Nishikawa he's just young. He's not ready for it just yet. He's probably, again, he'll throw back at Burgos. He might try to switch it up with the takedown, but I think Burgos is able to keep it standing, and eventually in that second round, Burgos is able to find the finish. However, too little too late. Burgos needs a first round finish. I don't think he's going to get it in time. I think it's going to take him a little bit to set up. Burgos is going to get the second round TKO win over Yamato Nishikawa, but no playoffs this season for Hurricane Shane. Okay, so the reigning PFL welterweight champion in Sadabusi is put in the Brendan Loughnane situation yet again. Brendan Loughnane, again, was in the same spot against Jesus Pinedo. All Loughnane needed to do was get it out the first 2 minutes of the second round. And, he gets knocked down in the first round. However, and he, of course, Pinedo won and knocked him out, and Pinedo's in the playoffs. However, Sadabusi is not getting knocked out in the first round by Shane Mitchell. I am pretty certain about that. Sadabusi is too good of a striker. Sadabusi, again, at 36 years of age, is showing his best striking yet. And again, that's really what Sadabusi does. That's all Sadabusi does. But the Swedish Denzel Washington, Sadabusi, is finally putting it all together. This guy is becoming a complete fighter now. In 2023, he's the 2022 welterweight champion for the PFL. And Sadabusi in this fight, I think, is going to, again, he said this in his post-fight interview with Sean O'Connell. He's looking for more finishes this year. He gets one in the first round against Al-Silawi. He's going to get one now here against Shane Mitchell. He is going to get to Mitchell early. He's going to work the body early. Mitchell's going to drop his hands, and boom, Sadabusi is going to catch him at top. And Sadabusi is going to pick up 5 points. Now, it's going to be tough between him and, of course, Umalatov, who's going to get the 3 seed. I think C's finishes will be faster, and Sadabusi will pick up the 3 seed in the playoffs. making now a rematch with Carlos Leal in the first round. And oh, by the way, it will set up for Magomed versus Magomedkerimov versus Magomed Umalatov in the first round. My goodness. But give me Sadabusi again. Sadabusi is levels ahead of Shane Mitchell in terms of striking. Mitchell's first fight this year was against Naib Lopez, and he loses by decision. The signing of Shane Mitchell was a little bit questionable in the first place, considering this guy has not beat pretty much anyone notable outside of the PFL. So Sadabusi is going to run right through Shane Mitchell and on to the playoffs. Sadabusi, the reigning welterweight champion, will pick up the number 3 seed and book another rematch against Carlos Leal in the first round, and setting up again for that Magomed versus Magomed fight, which is also interesting. But anyways, yes, Sadabusi wins by first round knockout, moving on to the PFL playoffs. And now for our main event of the evening, Aubin-Mercier takes on Anthony Romero in the main event. All OAM needs to do is win by decision. If he somehow loses, Shane Burgos makes the playoffs instead. He's not losing to Anthony Romero, and I think Romero is very talented. You've seen the knockout, the flying knee knockout on Fury. You've seen that was everywhere on the internet. And again, Romero's got power. He's a very fun fighter to watch, and this is a guy who I want the PFL to bring back next season. And I think if you give him the right opponents, and if you give Romero the type of guys that he can really build himself up with, Anthony Romero might be a real threat in the lightweight division. Who is a guy, by the way, who can get finishes if he needs to with the big power. The thing is, again, you look at the guy he beat with the flying knee. The guy's 10-10. It's Kenneth Glenn. It's a guy who lost to Diego Lopez in his fight before that. And I'm not discrediting Anthony Romero at all. I'm just saying the win was against a guy who wasn't very good. But it's not denying the fact that Anthony Romero is a really good fighter. He won in the Challenger Series over Tony Caruso. He beats him by unanimous decision. He's got a win over Zach Juusola back in 2020. Again, all around, Anthony Romero is a pretty good fighter, and I'm excited for him to be in this season. And it's crazy, again, he's got a win over Zach Juusola, a guy who is fighting at 170 pounds for the PFL, and Romero is fighting 155 pounds. Again, they fought at a catchweight at 160 back in 2020. That's besides my point. I like Anthony Romero a lot. I think he's a really good striker. However, he's fighting the best guy the PFL has got in the lightweight division. 7-0 in the PFL, Aubin-Mercier, who is likely on his way to, I think, win the PFL championship yet again. I think he is. This guy has been in a collision course through the PFL right now. I mean, he is dominating everybody, given his Burgos fight was not the most impressive and it wasn't the most fan-friendly style of fight. But OAM does what he needs to do to win. He does what he needs to do with his striking, with his grappling, with everything involved. Aubin-Mercier is going to beat Anthony Romero. He's going to do just enough, and OAM is going to win every single round, moving on to the PFL playoffs by winning it by unanimous decision. So your PFL lightweight playoffs goes as follows. It's basically what they have right now. OAM, the 1 seed, takes on Schulte, the 4. Clay Collard takes on Bruno Miranda in the 2-3. So, folks, thank you all for watching our PFL 6 predictions here on the channel. We will be back for the playoff card in early August. I believe from Nashville. I think that card is going to be taking place. No, San Antonio, somewhere in Texas, I think. Main event for that for now, they're thinking is probably Bubba Jenkins, Jesus Pinedo. But again, that'll be a stacked card with the featherweights and, of course, the light heavyweights in the playoffs. My guy, Mbaka and I will be back in August. Really excited for that card. So, for now, folks, thank you all for watching PFL. In the meantime, we'll have Bellator and UFC on the channel until the next PFL card in August. Thank you all for watching. Make sure that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure you leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Again, thanks for watching, and Mamba forever.